in Lesson 6-8. In Lesson 6-8, we're going to work on expressing and interpreting remainders. Up until this point in time, we've just put the capital R and written our remainder. Now we're going to take a look at what those remainders mean. Let's go ahead and start with a math warm-up. Grab your whiteboard or a sheet of paper and make sure you do this along with me. Imagine that there are 3 students that want to share 13 sticks of gum. How many sticks of gum does each student get if they receive equal shares? If I take the 13 sticks of gum and divide it by 3, just to let you know, I can't even do 10 groups of 3 because that would be 30 sticks of gum, so it becomes a basic fact. 3 goes into 13 4 times with 1 stick of gum remaining. You also could draw a picture and you could show different ways. Here you see they each get 4 sticks, 4 sticks, 4 sticks. We could take that extra piece of gum and divide into thirds. Rather than writing our answer of 4, remainder 1, we could say each child receives, or each student receives 4 sticks and 1/3 of the last one. So sometimes we report the fraction, the remainder, as a fraction. Let's try another one. 4 brothers are given 35 fruit bars. They agree to share the bars equally. How many fruit bars will each boy get? So go ahead on your whiteboard and let's take 35 fruit bars divided among the 4 brothers. Now, we could say, are there at least 10 groups of 4? But there's not, so it becomes a basic fact. How many 4s are there in 35? Well, 9 would be too many, so let's go ahead and do 8. 8 times 4 is 32. Remember, my remainder must always be smaller than the number I divided by my divisor. So the answer is 8, remainder 3. What I'm going to do is to figure out what do I do with that remainder. So let's go ahead and write a number model using a letter for the unknown. So we would take 35 divided by 4 equals, and I'm going to put F for fruit bars. It's a lowercase letter. It's called a variable. The answer over here we determined was 8 remainder 3. So they each get 8 bars. What will happen to the 3 that are left over? Well, knowing kids are hungry, I would take those 3 bars. So let me just draw a picture. And since there's 4 brothers, I would go ahead and divide each one into fourths. Brother 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each brother gets 8 bars, and brother number 1 gets 3/4 of the remaining bars. Brother 2, he also gets 8 and 3/4. Remember, our denominator tells us how many equal parts it's divided into. Same thing with brother 3 and brother number 4. So after each boy takes 1 piece of each leftover bar, what mixed number can we write to show the total number of bars each boy has? 8 and 3/4. So we have realized in the last 2 problems that sometimes we take the remainder and write it as a fraction. That makes sense to divide up food, things that can be easily, cut or broken into equal parts. Let's take a look at this problem though. 3 children want to divide 16 toy cars equally. What is each child's share? Well, they make these problems pretty easy. How many 3s are there in 16? Well, there would be 5. 3 times 5 is 15. And how many cars remain? Well, the answer is 5 remainder 1. Now, it wouldn't make sense to go ahead and try to cut that car into thirds. So sometimes we just ignore the remainder. There's 1 car that's remaining. Maybe mom takes it and puts it away, or dad puts it away so that boys or kids don't fight. But sometimes we ignore it. We know sometimes we write it as a fraction. If we can divide something up evenly, sometimes we just ignore it. Let's try another way. Esteban has 29 photographs. He can fit 6 photos on a page of his photo album. How many pages must he use to hold all 29 photos? So I'm going to head and take 29 divided by 6 to see how many pages he needs. 29 divided by 6 is becoming, just look at it as a basic fact. How many 6s are there in 29? Well, there are 4. 6 times 4 is 24, with the remainder 5. So the answer, without thinking a whole lot about the remainder, would be 4 remainder 5. But look at this for a minute. How many pages must he use to hold all 29 photos? Right now, remainder 5 means that there are 5 photos that aren't on a page. And maybe they're of Esteban's trip to Disney World. He doesn't want to lose those. So sometimes we round up. So instead of 4 pages, he's going to have to add 1 more, and he would need 5 pages. So we have 3 things that we can do to the remainder. So if we look at remainders, the first time we said if we can divide something up easily by cutting it, we are going to report the remainder as a fraction. Sometimes, in the case of the toy car, we're just going to ignore the remainder and not do anything with it. Lastly, we said sometimes we would have to round up. If I am putting all of my favorite baseball cards in plastic sleeves and I have 7 that are remaining, I would go ahead and get another plastic sheet to put them in. Let's go ahead and move into our journal on page 209. For each number story, we're going to draw a picture, write a number model with a letter for the unknown, use a division algorithm to solve the problem, decide what to do about the remainder, and record the answer and write a number model with the answer. So first of all, we have Jackson who's buying balloons for a party. Balloons cost $6 per bunch. And he wants to know how many he could buy with $75. So I'm going to go ahead and go down below and write the number model first. 75 divided by $6 per bunch will be what I'm solving for. So I'm going to draw a circle. Go ahead under where it says picture and write 6. We're going to find out how many groups of 6 we can purchase with the $75. So one group at $6 will be 6. A second group of $6 bunch of balloons would be 12. 3 bunches would be 18. 4 bunches, 24. 5 bunches, 30. 6 bunches would be $36. 7 bunches, 42. 8 bunches, 48. 9 bunches, 54. 10 bunches, 60. 11 bunches, 66. 12 bunches, and this is why you want to know those 12s, 72. Can I do another group of 6? 6 more onto that would be 78. I don't have that much money, so I need to stop here. I can buy 12 bunches if I count that. 12 bunches. Now, the number model would be 75 divided by 6 gives me 12 with a remainder of 3. So now we need to decide, I'm going to move down the page. What do I do about the remainder? So can I buy, if I have $3 remaining, can I buy another bunch? Or can I cut them in half? No, in this case, the store is going to say, I'm sorry, to buy another bunch of balloons, it would be $6. So in this case, we're going to ignore it. Okay? There isn't enough money to buy another bunch. Again, remember, at any point in time, if you need to pause the video to have additional time, please do so. Now I'm going to move on to number 2. So I had to go back to page 209. You're already still on there. Number 2, Rosa's buying boxes to hold all 128 of her DVDs. Each box holds 5 DVDs. How many boxes are needed to store all of her DVDs? So we take the 128 DVDs, divide it into groups of 5, and I'm just going to put a D for DVDs. Now, I'm just going to count up by 5s until I get to 128, and then let's see what happens. So 5, actually I'm just going to write 5s rather than trying to draw a box. Each 5 represents a box of 5 DVDs. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125. I'm up to 125. I still have 3 DVDs that are not in a box. So what do I need to do? Well, the answer is really 25 remainder 3, but now I have those 3 DVDs that might get broken. So what do I need to do? I'm going to round it up. So the answer would actually be 26 because I'm going to round it up. My number model is 128 divided by 5 is actually 25 remainder 3. But let's go down to the bottom of that page. What did I do with the remainder? Did I ignore it and just leave those 3 DVDs out on the counter? Did I report it as a fraction, say, well, I need like 3/5 of a box? Can you do that? No, I rounded the answer up. And why? Because I needed another box to fit all of the DVDs. Again, please remember to pause the video if you need more time. Let's take a look at one more problem and we're moving on to page 210. We'll just do number 3 here. Latifa won 188 granola bars in a raffle. She decided to share them equally with 7 of her classmates and herself. Be careful. How many people is that altogether? 8. How many granola bars did each person get? So the number model is 188 divided by 8, not 7. Put a G for granola bar. Now, go ahead and just take 188 divided by 8. Can I have at least 10 groups of 8 with 188 granola bars? Absolutely. 10 times 8 is 80. Go ahead and subtract. Can I give 7 of my classmates and Latifa another 10 granola bars? 10 times 8 is 80, and I have 108 granola bars still to divide up, so yes, I can. Can I do 10 more groups? 10 more in a group. How many 10 times 8 is 80. I only have 28 granola bars left, so now it becomes a basic fact. How many 8s are in 28? 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. Now, I cannot give out one more granola bar for each student because there's only 4 granola bars and 8 people to give it to. So the answer would be 188 divided by 8 equals 23, because I add those numbers up on the side. 10 plus 10 plus 3 is 23, remainder 4. But you know what I can do with those 4 granola bars? I could divide them up and we could eat them right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could divide each one into 8ths. Okay, so I'm actually going to divide 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to take those granola bars and I'm going to go ahead and report it as a fraction. So each person is going to get 23 granola bars and 4/8 of the following remaining ones. They each would get 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of those granola bars is in 8 equal parts. What did I do with the remainder? I reported it as a fraction because I can divide up the remaining granola bars. All right, let's give IXL a try.